It's not like we record a lot of these in a row.
No, we don't.
It's not like I'm just like, oh man, I have no time to think about an intro. But I never think of a goddamn intro.
It usually hits us as we hit start recording.
I'm just like, I literally thought of it like 2 seconds before I hit record, and I was like, wait a second, nope, I still have nothing. It's been close to a month since we last recorded R2-BD.
Sounds about right.
And I'm still just as lost in the woods. Welcome back to R2-BD, friends. We're brothers. My name's Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we talk about the Star War.
The singular war.
I think now I'm just going to be disappointing people if I do come up with an intro.
I'd like to think not, but like you said last time, the not having an intro and commenting on it is basically an intro.
It now just feels like it's part of the show,
Yeah.
So, there's that, I suppose. Anyway, oh man, what a busy time for Star Wars TV. It's like these things happen all the time. Like last time we dealt with a lot of Star Wars shows in a row. It was a Bad Batch Season 3, Tales of the Empire. What was after that? There was something like right around that time, and I can't think of what it was.
Skeleton Crew?
Skeleton Crew, that was it.
Yeah.
I think. Who the hell knows?
No.
The Skeleton Crew finished when we started recording in person again, and Acolyte. How can I forget the Acolyte? We are Acolyte fans around here. I feel like I spend... this is at least the second episode that I've opened, and in like the first 2 minutes I've been like, we like the Acolyte, and I feel like I just alienated a lot of Star Wars fans from this video. Whatever.
I like to think not, but you're probably
the
right.
It's good stuff. It's good.
Stuff.
We can talk about this because we had book announcements from I guess the pre-Star Wars. Unfortunately, we're recording this 3 days before Star Wars Celebration,
right?
And when this comes out, it'll definitely be after Star Wars Celebration, and I feel like we're just actively screwing ourselves over with that.
There is so much we won't be able to talk about.
Yeah. But no, they announced some Acolyte books. They announced a visual guide, and they announced an art book of the Acolyte, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, very excited.
I saw the cover of it, and it was like it was Kamir and May and Osha, and I was like, all I saw was the cover. I was like, we're continuing the Acolyte in book form, and we're not, unfortunately, yet. However, we're getting Wayseeker and whatever the other one was called. We're getting a YA book and an adult book from the Acolyte. They're both prequel books, of course. Mm-hmm. But still, exciting all the same. I'm very excited.
Exciting all the same.
Yes.
Especially because a lot of the High Republic team is behind it.
Yeah, I would highly encourage any Acolyte fans out there to just buy these books coming up, show people that there are fans that are interested in this and want to see more. So, I don't know. I'm not a salesperson for Lucasfilm, but I feel like I should be. Anyway, that's not at all what we're talking about. That is not at all what we're talking about today. Today we're talking
There are people who looked at the thumbnail, saw the title, and they're like, they're still doing this.
Still doing this. Andor Season 1. We're here to revisit Andor Season 1, as Andor Season 2 is coming out soon. In addition to yet another a series of shorts coming out that was sprung on us at random. So needless to say, this and the next 2 episodes of R2-BD will be all current Star Wars things coming out in TV. So our next episode will be Tales of the Underworld and then Andor Season 2. We plan to do Andor Season 2 after Season 1, but the Disney and Lucasfilm had other ideas. So
that, and realistically, it'll be easier to do a video for Underworld.
Well, Underworld comes out between, like, literally at the halfway point of Andor Season 2's release.
Yeah.
So we'll do Underworld first, and then we'll do Andor Season 2. So, but Andor Season 1, we're revisiting that today. We rewatched the whole season pretty recently, and we are here to talk about it. God, Andor's great. End of discussion. Andor's great. It's a great show.
Is this one of those episodes of the show where we should actually have like a spoiler free review?
Well, in this case, I would say no, because it's not like a new thing. This season of TV is 2 years old now, isn't it?
Sounds about right, I suppose.
So yeah, it has to be. I don't think consider this a full spoiler discussion. But if you haven't seen Andor, fucking watch Andor. Like,
just phenomenal.
What are you doing with your life? It's so good. Easily some of the best Star Wars we've had under the Disney Plus era of things. Mm-hmm. Not that I haven't enjoyed other things, obviously. But no, I adore this show. I think I'll begin by talking about one of the most fascinating things for me, which is where Andor sort of began. because the story, as I understand it, is that they were developing Andor. They had decided they were going to do an Andor show not long after Rogue One had wrapped, and they were planning this thing out, and it essentially was what I thought the Andor show was going to be when I first heard about it. The initial idea was kind of almost buddy cop movie with Andor and K2SO, and I'm like, okay, sure, I love Alan Tudyk as K2SO, obviously, but it's not the most enticing thing in the world. Let's also be real. When we heard the news, I think the initial reaction, if you're just a random person who's seen Rogue One and like, hey, I like that movie, and you hear there's a spin-off show for Rogue One about one of those characters, I think Cassian Andor is kind of the bottom of your list, isn't he? I at least wasn't super into Cassian when I first saw Rogue One.
No, not that he isn't much of a character. He's... what's the right... I'm trying to think of like the right way to say what I mean, but like, in terms of all the characters in Rogue One, he's not the least interesting, but when you're just watching Rogue One, you're like, yeah, that's the guy I want to see a show about.
Yeah, exactly. For me, he's got like maybe 2 especially interesting scenes to himself in Rogue One. A lot of his moments are now, of course, enhanced because of the existence of a show like Andor. Yeah. Again, the wonder of something that Star Wars excels at, prequel storytelling. It's wonderful. It's great. But no, like, on initial watch of Rogue One, I'm like, really? That guy? Like, I would sooner watch stuff about, like, Chirrut or Jin. I would love to watch more about Jin or I mean, I don't know. Just give me something else. But Andor's what we got.
Andor's what we got. And really... it's a damn good product the same.
That is what they decided on. And essentially Tony Gilroy, the guy that did wonders for Rogue One as it previously existed, said, hey, I hear you're doing this with Andor. I'm going to write a letter to Kathleen Kennedy and propose my version of Andor that I think is way cooler than this. Kathleen Kennedy read this letter and said, okay, cool, we're going to go with you instead.
And he was like, God damn it, not again.
Yeah. Tony Gilroy, just a man burdened with consistently saving Star Wars projects. Consistently carrying this shit on his back and making fucking Andor. Like, again, like, I never thought, if you had told me in 2016 that a show about Cassian Andor would be this fucking good, I would never have believed you. Never believed you. But it's here. And it exists as it is. I also understand, apparently, during the Tony Gilroy plotting out and reworking of the show, that the show at some point was conceived as planned out to be 5 seasons long.
Ooh, that's a lot.
What they wanted to do was do sort of like 1 season for each year leading up to Rogue One.
Okay.
What we're instead getting, as I understand it with season 2, is now we've done the first full year with Andor season 1, but then for the remaining 4, we're doing 3 episodes each, and they're all sort of encompassing their own little story arc, and they'll all encompass like a year of Andor's timeline. So, I believe, as Tony Gilroy put it, they sort of realized that like halfway through filming season 1, they're like, that plan isn't going to work out. So they condensed sort of the rest into what we're going to get for season 2.
Because I mean, realistically, can you imagine 5 years of no downtime?
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
The character of Cassian Andor, there wasn't a month where he just didn't do anything.
Yeah, he's just constantly on the move. I mean, I guess when you're in this fight, I guess there's not much time for downtime, is there? I guess
not, but I suppose, like, how long can you really, like, on a production end, if nothing else?
Well, yeah, I think it was mostly a production thing that they were looking at when they made that decision. So I'm very curious to see season 2. If this, for some reason, releases after the beginning of season 2 releases, sorry if anything we're about to say is irrelevant. We haven't watched it yet, obviously. So, Andor in this fight. I guess that's a great opening conversation.
It's a great opening conversation.
What does it actually mean to be part of this fight? Because Andor, I would say, is someone that starts off not completely in it.
I think realistically, he has no stake in this fight. As the show initially presents itself, like, his main immediate concern, find family.
Yeah. Something that is abandoned, essentially. I do wonder if I'll touch on that in season 2.
I thought about that as we rewatched season 1, and I was like, I understand, like, I was watching it, I was like, okay, I know in the head of the character, there's a lot of shit happening in a row. Not a lot of time for the find the sister plot line. But at the same time, it's like, Are we just giving that up?
Well, I wonder. Here's the thing. Like, I would take it as the search for family becomes Bix in the end. Him saving Bix in the finale. Like,
Yeah,
for me at least, that's what that is. I think that was what makes sense to me. I don't. The idea is simply the fight is bigger than his own personal goal.
Yeah, that's exactly like his own goal becomes superseded by a fight he actually comes to believe in.
Yeah.
Because at the start of the show, he's not in a fight.
He hates the Empire.
He hates the Empire.
A lot of people hate the Empire.
Yeah, but a lot of people hate the Empire. He isn't.
He's not in a unique position.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people hate the Empire. And that I think is what's that to me is what's always been fascinating about Andor as a character, even back from when all we had was Rogue One. What I always loved about the character was that he was just someone that believed in the cause, but wasn't Luke Skywalker. You know, wasn't Princess Leia, wasn't Han Solo, wasn't someone especially important to the grand destruction of the Empire.
No, I mean he is, like, in the end, critical to that plan actually succeeding.
Of course he is,
but he isn't the main character that's going to make that happen.
Yeah. I think on how great. First off, we also love Rogue One. Big Rogue One fans around here. But Rogue One, I think, in showing Cassian's importance in the overall story, shows that he will largely be forgotten. He's a line of text on the screen in the first Star Wars movie. You know, like,
yeah,
Rebels have stolen the Death Star plans. Cool. Who are those guys? No one fucking cares because no one remembers them. No one's going to remember.
No one's going to remember them.
What is important though is that they did it.
Yes.
God, Rogue One's great.
Oh, absolutely.
So good. But we also like Cassian Andor, who is just a fighter on the ground, someone that believes in this cause, or comes to believe in this cause.
Yeah, comes to. Yes, he is actively convinced through the course of the show.
Yeah. And being a rebel on the ground, not being a hero, so to speak, there are corners cut, let's say. Andor as a character is always shown to be more, let's say, brutal than your average rebel. What does actually taking down an oppressive regime actually look like? It means sacrifices. It means trying to find the right words for this. Being less than you should be. Going lower, I should say.
I can see that. Yeah,
lowering yourself.
I mean, that's more shown immediately in something like Rogue One. I imagine we'll see plenty of it in season 2.
And of course, everyone knows that scene in Rogue One,
yeah,
where he kills the other rebel
just because
he's slowing him down.
Yeah, he's slowing him down. He's not shutting the hell up.
Yeah,
like that guy, he's a liability.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also we see that in one of the first scenes of Andor when he kills the R2 Imperial officers.
I mean, in him just being who he is, that's more of a reaction to just what is essentially a bar fight gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that this essentially almost completely irrelevant event sets off a huge chain of dominoes.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Like really
I like the idea of a chain of dominoes.
Chain of dominoes.
I like that. Go on.
Just really picture how completely forgettable something like the killing of 2 corporate officers is in relation to the Death Star being built.
Oh, totally.
And ISB gaining all these grander responsibilities.
Yeah, and yet it is the beginning of this chain of events that leads to the entirety of the season. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating idea. And I think no better represented is that than in the character of Cyril Karn, wonderfully played by Kyle Suller, who is one of my favorites in the entire show. This is a guy that actually believes in the Empire. I think so often you don't see many of those characters when you're talking about the original trilogy era of Star Wars. You know, you see Imperial officers. These are guys doing their jobs. These people that just have to do this shit.
There's like any Imperial officer, top to bottom, they're all just doing their thing.
Yeah. And if you believe in the Empire, you're an actual like piece of shit. You're an actual like genuine villain in the larger galaxy, like the Emperor or Darth Vader.
But theoretically stormtroopers.
Yeah. But then there are people that see it as a job, see it as, oh, this is just the government and I work for the government, but actually believe in the government, actually believe in what the Empire stands for. That is what Cyril Karn is, and that is why I love him so much. He is the guy that says, oh, there's this guy murdered some people. We should be doing something about this because we're the Empire. We're the government. We're supposed to do this. We're supposed to be good guys.
Yeah. We are supposed to care. And basically everyone around him is like, no. These 2 corporate officers, you can just forget it happened.
Yeah.
And like his boss at the start of the boss in the setup of everything that'll happen tells him it's not that important.
Yeah. Oh God, I love it. Fascinating character. And then eventually, of course, you get wonderful scenes, like his home life, like seeing his mother, and like understanding that this is like a person that exists in this world, has something to believe in, no matter how evil it is, because he believes that the Empire is something better.
Yeah, he believes that he's really fixated on Cassian Andor because he's the start of all of this from his perspective, which is amazingly accurate. But he looks at everything going on around him and is like, that guy's a rebel. Firmly he's concocted some version of Cassian Andor in his mind as a mastermind almost even. And is like, this is what the Empire snuffs out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you see his faith almost shaken by this corruption in this system. This lack of belief from the people that he believes in doing the right thing. And it's almost shaken until he finds someone else like him that believes in the Empire about as much as he does, in the form of Deidre Miro, played by Denise Goff, who is fantastic as well. Another fascinating Imperial character, someone that actually does believe in the Empire, but also, whereas Cyril believes in the Empire, but does not see himself as evil, Deidre, I think, sees herself as evil, sees the Empire as evil, and does not mind working for that anyway.
Or, I don't know about evil necessarily, because I didn't get that. I got that she saw the Empire as inefficient. That's
fair, but then I also think of a scene where, she literally tortures Bix and kind of seems to take pleasure in that, you know? That's what I think of when I think of oh yeah, she doesn't mind being evil. It's something that she's totally okay with doing. Okay, maybe that's more accurate. If she doesn't see herself as evil, she doesn't mind doing bad things.
Yes. The Empire's willing to get a little dirty to get done what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And she is completely on board with that.
Yeah.
All in the name, for all seemingly to me, of making things just work better. She needs information, she'll get underhanded. Go get the information she needs.
Yeah.
She is pure efficiency in getting this rebel cause dealt with that she very accurately keeps correctly diagnosing.
Oh, yeah.
And no one around her is like, oh, these desperate things you keep seeing and pointing out, non-important. Ignore them.
Yeah, totally. I think it's also important to remember that this show, Season 1 of this show, and of course the rest of Andor coming up soon, takes place directly alongside the final 5 years leading up to A New Hope that happens in Rebels throughout that time period. So we're seeing two sides of the rebellion here. We're seeing, early on here especially, Andor Season 1 should happen roughly around the same time as Rebels Season 1. Just as the rebellion is beginning to organize just enough to begin to make a difference, but they still haven't had an actual cause yet. They haven't had an organization yet.
There hasn't been, let's say, a defining galactic cultural reference point.
Yeah, exactly. Which, as far as I understand it, we're getting in Andor Season 2. And my God, I cannot wait.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait for that. So exciting. But we see the rebellion, or what will become the rebellion, people that hate the Empire enough to do something about it.
We see rebellions.
Yeah. And we see not just small acts, but big acts, large waves beginning to be made, and organization beginning to happen behind the scenes. We see this mostly through Luthen Rawl and Mon Mothma. Two of the best characters in all of Star Wars, dare I say?
I mean, we've always known Mon Mothma.
Everyone knows Mon Mothma's a legend. Come on. I mean,
as a character, Mon Mothma is legendary within the time frame that most Star Wars fans are familiar with.
Yeah, what a career Genevieve O'Reilly has had with Mon Mothma. Almost all of her scenes got cut from Revenge of the Sith, and then she just kept playing the character after that. What a fucking legend.
Yeah.
But no, she's wonderful, and of course, my favorite character in the show. I think a great many people's favorite character in the show. Luthen, as played by Stellan Skarsgård. Papa Skarsgård, as I have come to know and love him.
He is also easily my favorite character.
Yeah. We're seeing Luthen's gonna die in season 2. Let's get that out of the way. Luthen's gonna die in season 2.
If
and
he doesn't, I'd be amazed.
It's gonna be one of the best death scenes in Star Wars, and I'm gonna fucking hate it. But this is a guy that believes. So again, a lot of the show is about belief, I would say. Luthen is a character that believes in this cause more than himself. You look at a character like Cyril, he believes in the Empire because it is about him, because he sees himself as part of it.
Right.
Luthen sees the rebellion, or what will be the rebellion, as something bigger than himself.
The difference between those two characters is Luthen sees himself as like a really small cog. Mm-hmm. That will become easily overshadowed once there is an actual structure in place.
Yeah, he actually understands that. He understands what the characters in Rogue One don't. Like that he is just he's a piece of text on the Star Wars crawl. He understands his place in the galaxy a little bit too well. Which of course, is what that amazing speech in One Way Out is all about. He sees his life as forfeit. He has thrown away everything he has ever cared about because he knows there is something greater in this galaxy than him or his personal life.
And realistically, having any unnecessary extra connections, it's just a hazard.
Yeah. Oh God. He breaks my heart. But he's stone cold. And I love him. How great are his... Just talk about the performance, though, because of course I brought up his defining moment in the show. But my God, how great are his moments when he's the artifact dealer essentially.
I love the artifact dealer.
I adore just that other persona of his, that other side of Luthen that we see. It's this fantastic cover, and I love watching whenever he's in that wig and getup and everything. When that just drops when he's alone with Mon Mothma, and he's like, "No, let's fucking talk about this. There's something more important than us right now." And Mon Mothma, we see only beginning to realize that. Mon Mothma, of course, we know will be a massive name in the rebellion.
Luthen will not. What does that say?
Yeah,
the man who is almost clairvoyant in understanding what is happening.
Yeah, he will be forgotten, just like everyone in Rogue One,
because he's too behind the scenes.
Yeah, but he understands that, and he's okay with that because he has to be. Oh man, so let's talk about the real world. Oh man, no, I'm not going to. Look, we can describe the plot of Andor, and the connections will be obvious. It is a fantastic story to be telling right now, for obvious reasons. It was great to be telling back in 2023. Even more so now, as season 2 is about to come out in 2025.
I'm very curious to see how that's going to actually make people view the season and its content.
I mean, there was an interview. Tony Gilroy literally said, "This is probably the most important thing I'll ever work on in my life."
Oh, that's
like,
okay.
Almost like Luthen, he understands his place in this. Like, he understands like what he is telling is something powerful, something that needs to be said on such a massive platform like Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Like, come on, Disney Plus. Like, Disney is releasing this. They're putting this out. They're like, how huge is that? How insane is that? That's something that I would say speaks such truth to the world. Is able to do this through the moniker of Star Wars.
Yeah, through the all, albeit famous fiction that Star Wars is,
but something that has always been rooted in fact.
Absolutely.
Like George Lucas's original idea for Star Wars was connected intrinsically to real life war and politics and what this actually meant to him. So it works. It makes sense. That's what kind of Star Wars has kind of always been. There are a fair few moments throughout Star Wars' history where it is not directly commenting on something in the real world, and I don't mind those moments. I don't mind when Star Wars is fun, schlocky space wizards, and that's great. But
yeah, I love space wizards.
But my God, there's a reason that Andor has resonated with so many people, and that is, I think, its unfortunate connection to the world that we live in. So yeah, let's talk about Marva Andor.
Okay.
Speaking on this, I think an important character in this larger conversation. First off, played by Fiona Shaw, who's lovely, as always. I'm trying to talk about this character without just bringing up her final speech, because
I mean, we could talk about how like they find Cassian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, of course.
And just how that's set during the Republic era. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we straight up see clones in Cassian's flashbacks, and especially when he's a child. I mean, Cassian is a character, I think, in his like late 20s, early 30s. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But if that's the case, then yeah, we're talking Republic era.
Yeah, because when she finds him on his home planet that I can't picture the name of off the top of my head. I did not have it in my notes. I apologize. He's sort of the last man left, just because everyone else that he came with ran away.
Mm-hmm.
And the short version of relevance is they attacked him and all the fellow kids and appeared to be older teens.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like attacked the last 2 remaining dudes who were left with their research ship.
Yeah.
And they show up, his mama in the end.
Mm-hmm.
They show up. And she's like, oh, they just killed people. We gotta go. The Republic not gonna handle this nicely.
Yeah. And
which is interesting because it's an angle of the Republic that isn't seen out in Star Wars in general.
Yeah.
That the Republic theoretically could be brutal like the Empire.
I mean, yeah, there's a reason the Republic became the Empire. Why it was so easy to make it the Empire. Because, I don't know, they're not that different.
Yeah, like the only difference comes down from just the top-down leadership.
I mean, it's literally just we cut out a massive part of the Republic, and that is the Jedi. One of the only, I struggle to say good.
I was gonna say safeguards.
Yeah. One of the only things actually keeping Palpatine and the Republic at large in check. And once that is cut out, I mean, what else changes really? Not much. You know?
Just a lot more people with, I'm going to call them antisocial tendencies can take power.
Yeah. It's, gotta love that you said that. But yeah, so, it's, yeah, you're right. It is fascinating. And also in saving Cassian and adopting him, literally, you find in Andor's backstory what makes him the person he is. What makes him actually want to stand up for things, actually believe in this cause eventually.
Yeah,
because it happens. Spoilers. It happens well before his mom dies. Like,
yeah,
I would say, of course, you see his belief in what will become the rebellion strengthened through the Aldani arc. But I think when you solidify it is the Narkina 5 arc, which the best arc in the show, obviously. Fantastic stuff. You know what I also like? On sort of the locations in this show. I like that this is a big show. It's a 12-episode show. It's the longest Disney Plus original Star Wars show.
It is.
Massive cast of characters. And I think what sort of keeps it grounded and keeps people invested is that we're mostly on 4 locations throughout the entire thing. You've got Ferrix, you've got Aldani, Narkina 5, and Coruscant. And that's it. Most of those you're just swapping out like from time to time. Like it's not like you're going between all 4 of those places in one episode. Like we're splitting that up between sections. Coruscant is there all throughout the entire thing, and that's great. But no, like you get a few other small planet appearances. Like I forget what the planet Saw Gerrera is on, but there's that.
There's that. You know? That has a couple scenes.
But no, like it is just about those 4 locations and keeping things grounded and keeping people invested by making this massive world seem small. Because we're just following one character. Well, we're not just following one character, but
we're primarily following 3, 4?
A number of characters. But Cassian sort of being our point of view character, keeping him locked down to those couple locations, I think really works to structure the show. And it's great. I'd love to see that. Narkina 5. I gotta talk about that. It is. We have a Star Wars show that says prison reform. Like, what fucking Star Wars product ever says prison reform? Crazy. Like, it blows my mind. Actually blows my mind.
Yeah.
To begin that arc with Cassian being wrongfully imprisoned, obviously.
Yeah, he's literally doing nothing. Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose he did just rob a shit ton of money from a bank, but he isn't being imprisoned for that.
Yeah. To openly say, on Disney Plus, I remind you, to openly say on Disney Plus, the system is designed to keep you here forever. To say, because I have it in my notes on my phone, because I wrote it down as we were rewatching the show, and I was like, that's so fucking good. We're cheaper than droids and easier to replace. Showing that, once again, the system is designed to keep you there. Like, you're there for a purpose, because it's not just that we're locking you away and keeping you there forever. You're serving the government in a way. Like, this is all shit that the show is actually saying about the world, and like once again, Star Wars is saying something. It's nice. It's nice to see. It just God, blows my mind. I love it. God. And of course, in the middle of it all, you have Kino Loy, as played by Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah,
another one of the absolute best characters in the show.
A man who is almost out. However,
believes to almost be out.
Yes. Well, yeah, exactly. His shift counter, however long until he theoretically leaves prison, is under 50 days or something?
Something like that.
But, we'll learn they're just shuffling prisoners around.
Yeah. Just moving them to other locations, keeping them there. Because again, cheaper than droids, easier to replace.
Just as long as the Empire remembers not to send the same prisoner to a different part of their prison.
Yeah, what a shame. That's a fatal flaw in their plan. But again, even then, you can imagine that's happened before, and nobody has taken nobody's taken action about it. Nobody's ever tried to change that, really. You have someone like Cassian Andor, whose belief in a better galaxy has been solidified throughout the previous, at that point, like 8 or 9 episodes of the show. And he hears that and wants to do something about it. And all he needs to do is convince one other person that this is what's happening and that things need to change. And that person is Kino Loy, because he actually has some power here.
Yes.
God, it's great.
He convinces the one person he has not a great relationship with. They butted heads, but they agree on one thing. This sucks.
Yeah. But again, Andy Serkis is a guy that believes in the system. He's like, this system will work itself out. Once I've worked my time, I will be out and I will be free. And that is how the system works. And that is how it is fair that I will be treated this way eventually. Like,
we don't know what he was sent to prison for, mind you.
Yeah.
Like, theoretically, he was imprisoned because he actually did something.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not. We don't know.
Who fucking knows? I mean, I imagine his belief in the system would imply that he's actually done something that he feels he deserves to be there for. But who knows? Like honestly, it's great. Unless they do say something about it. I don't think I missed it.
I don't recall any dialogue about like him feeling this is unfair in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
Andor loudly complains. So
yeah. Oh God. Can you believe that guy played Supreme Leader Snoke? Like, of his 2 fucking Star Wars roles, this is the better one.
This is easily the better one.
Like, and also just, guys, let Andy Serkis just act normally. I get it, a career built on being the CGI monster guy, but like, come on.
The man clearly can just act.
Can fucking act. How great is he in the Batman? How great is he? Like, he's a fantastic Alfred. I love him.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Let's talk about Doctor Who. We have Cinta here. Cinta is a character played by Verada Sethu, who we've recently seen play the new Doctor Who companion, Belinda. And that's really cool. I like her. She's heavily involved with a character named Velasartha, played by Faye Marseille, who... Also, again, Disney Plus, we have an open lesbian relationship that just isn't, like, they don't make a huge deal out. It's just there. It exists. It is so great. It does a great job of just normalizing this relationship just in this world. And it's fantastic to see. I never see this shit outside of, like, Star Wars books and comics. Like,
yeah.
It is there. It is in mainstream Star Wars. And it's not cuttable. You can't cut it.
There's too many references, and they're usually paired up with lines that are vital to the show's narrative structure.
Yeah, you can't cut it. Now, also Disney Plus, the availability of these things in certain countries,
some are slim,
allows you to be more open with such things on a streaming platform. But it's still mainstream Star Wars. It's still out there. I take the win I can get, I guess. It's great. It really is great to see. You know what else is great to see, but really sad to see?
What's that?
Yularen. Yularen's here.
Yeah.
I will never not get sad whenever I see Yularen's just open and willing Imperial career post Clone War. Like, breaks my heart, man.
But here's the thing. It's one of those things like we were talking about. He's a man that must actually believe in the Empire.
I don't think he believes in it. It's a job.
You think he's firmly in the camp of this is my job?
I truly believe it's a job for him. I think based on what we've seen of him in Clone Wars, and also I've read he's in the Tarkin novel, and I've read that.
Oh, okay.
Which is the first time that I became like super aware of like, oh god, no, he just kept working for them. Ah, no, but he's also there in A New Hope. Did you know that?
No.
Yularen is in A New Hope. He's the guy with the white hair and the mustache.
Well, I mean, I guess he has to.
He's at the table where the dude gets choked at.
Huh.
Yeah. He's a named character in that. He's Yularen. He's there. He just has an Imperial career. Presumably he dies in the Death Star. I think that's his canon death. But that is it. That's the career. And that is what makes me think it's a job. Like he just kind of kept working up in the ranks, and as long as nobody was punching down at him, then he just kind of kept rising up. He didn't think anything of it. He was like, cool, Jedi that I served alongside are all bad guys? Sure, whatever. And
he thinks back on his career. That kind of tracks.
Yeah. Again, it's just Yularen is just, although he's mostly a background character in a lot of Star Wars things post Clone War, he is, his presence there, I think much like Saw Gerrera, who I want to talk about next, is something that I think comments on the galaxy at large and people's attitude towards these things that I find really fascinating. But I do want to talk about Saw Gerrera, who's back played by Forrest Whitaker, fantastic guy that
of course
played him in Rogue One.
Definitely a pleasure.
Love seeing him. Is a character that I always find. I don't know if I brought this up back in our Bad Batch season 3 discussion. I might have.
I don't remember.
But I always find Saw Gerrera's presence in Star Wars projects a comment on the rebellion and what it is and what it means and how it has slowly radicalized him over his time. Just fighting the good fight, or I guess fighting the bad fight.
Fighting the bad fight, yeah.
Saw Gerrera is the terrorist side of the rebellion, essentially, as we have consistently seen.
If Andor is willing to get a little dirty, but still play quote-unquote clean, mm-hmm. He is not.
Yeah, so Saw Gerrera, yeah, he is the most extreme, mainstream side of the rebellion that we have seen. And he gets worse and worse as we see him throughout the timeline. I would love to do just a marathon someday of all of Saw's appearances and just see how he gets worse and worse. Like, I love the idealist version of that character that we see back in his first Clone Wars appearances.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get to Bad Batch and he's like, okay, cool. The Republic has turned its back on us. Now we have to look out for ourselves. And that continues in the Bad Batch. And then you continue to see him throughout Andor and Rebels and Rogue One. And he just gets worse and worse and worse because almost similar to Luthen, which is why we see that camaraderie between those characters. He is a guy continually disillusioned by the galaxy. He sees that he has lived long enough to know that it never actually gets better. And he does not have the idealism of someone like Cassian Andor to believe that it can actually get better.
Yes.
Oh, God. What a show.
And all we've done is mostly just describe the characters.
Yeah. I mean the arcs.
We've talked about some of the arc stuff, of course.
Yeah. Oh, how great is B2? I like B2. He's a fun little droid. He's got a fun design.
I'm a big fan of his design.
Yeah. Great stuff. Oh, man.
What next? What's on your notes you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about? That's all. That's most of my notes.
I think I would just want to talk about / comment on the structure and how it relates to Andor's, Cassian Andor's. Like, I could be referring to any other Andor, I suppose. But
it's like that one Star Trek video we put out where you're describing, you said Jean-Luc and then you paused and said Picard. And if there's another Jean-Luc on Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, like, I just want to comment on the structure of this first season. Yeah. And we have the first arc, which is not like a huge thing. Mm-hmm. It's Andor. He's going up essentially what is against. Going up essentially what is. There we go. Mm-hmm. Like just sort of like a smaller like system government mm-hmm. instead of the Empire itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is what I like to see because on that structure, like throughout each of the 4 arcs that make up this season, you kind of see the threat of the Empire grow worse and worse, or bigger and bigger.
Bigger and bigger, yeah.
The Empire gets more recognizable as you get further on, and Andor's threats become more high profile. It's a local government that's still under the Empire, and that's where Cyril works, and that's his job. But then you get to Aldhani, and you have like TIE fighters and TIE pilots and things like that.
Yes, exactly. He's and in that situation, he's butting up against a local Imperial outpost, essentially.
Yeah.
That just happens to have an ass ton of money.
Yeah.
Some kind of what was it, quarterly payroll or something?
Yeah, yeah.
And he's actually hit a barrier of the Empire.
Oh wait, how great is that scene at the end of the Aldhani arc with where they actually come up against the Imperial guy like running that base, and he's just like a guy with like a family, and you see again the ugly side of the rebellion, and they treat these guys like they're the worst of the worst, and it's like once again just corporate Imperial, a guy just doing his job, and I wouldn't say a good guy because he's working under the Empire.
Yeah, he's working for the Empire.
It means that you are inherently bad. But again, just being Andor and that group on Aldhani being willing to do what they do, because they see the entire Empire as corrupt, and no matter. Because again, we get a glimpse inside that guy's life. He's just a dude with a family, you know?
Yeah, a family who really doesn't like what they have to do, realistically. Yeah. Well, let me not in reference to the Empire, but they have to do in service for the Empire.
Yeah, totally.
And it's in this mini arc, of the season. Andor is not radicalized, but enough shit happens that he is given the ability to become radicalized to the rebellion. Yeah.
Well, it's also in that arc that you see where the lack of organization within the rebellion is kind of on full display. Like you see at the end there, like the reason he kills that guy at the end is because he's like, hey, look, we don't owe these guys anything. We could just split it 50-50 and we can be on our way. And Andor's belief in the rebellion, or again, what will be the rebellion? I have to amend myself every time. That is what stops him from saying like, no, you don't actually believe in this. You just see this as a job. This isn't a job. This is something you fucking fight for, and that's why he kills him. It's great.
He takes a fair cut. In quotes, I don't know if it was actually fair or not realistically. Mm-hmm. And then he leaves. Yeah. He's then arrested, and it's proper. He's hit about as close to the Empire as he's going to get right away. Mm-hmm. This is sort of the ultimate group of it. These are people who love the torture of their job. Yeah. These are people who, they probably don't believe in the Empire, but they love the job they do with their full heart. Yeah.
And then by the time you get to the last arc, you have actual stormtroopers. You have Imperial officers with fucking riot shields. Like, it becomes fully militaristic on the ground level in the end. Yeah. And it's staggering when you look at that, like, and you see how the threat gets bigger as the season goes along. It's fascinating. I really love that. Great stuff. Ugh, God.
I don't have much more myself I want to comment on other than what I just said. And characters are all great.
Hot take, Andor good.
Andor good, yeah, real
Andor
hot take.
Good, and that's all we're really here to say. Insert Weird Al Albuquerque. That's all I'm really trying to say. So yeah, there's that. Just to remind people of the schedule coming up in the near future for R2-BD. We're covering Tales of the Underworld and Andor Season 2 coming up. After that, we're going to get back into some books and comics. Book-wise, we're doing Master and Apprentice and your next book choice, which you chose Dawn of the Jedi, which is very cool. Very excited for that.
Very excited.
Comic-wise, we're continuing our Star Wars and Darth Vader mainline reading, the stuff by Jason Aaron and Kieran Gillen. So we're doing all that. We should be finishing the initial Darth Vader run there in the nearest future. So that's very cool. But that'll be that. As always, my link tree and your Blue Sky link will be down in the description below. You can follow us wherever you want to follow us. Any support is greatly appreciated. Check out other episodes of R2-BD. I've really enjoyed this format we've done recently, where we just do single things in a single episode.
Yeah, this has been a change for the better.
Yeah, it's been very nice. So check out other R2-BD episodes. There's a whole playlist on the channel, which also includes our previous long form episodes where we cover multiple things in an episode. So there's that. I don't know, check out our Star Trek videos too. Those are great.
Yeah, we referenced them. Might as well check them again. Check them out.
Just do it. Anyway, that's it. All right, bye.